3 weeks ago, I was standing in my kitchen making coffee. Ordinary Tuesday morning, the same thing I'd done 10,000 times before. And then something happened that I cannot fully explain even now. It started as pressure, not pain exactly, just this weight. Like someone had quietly placed a stone on my chest while I wasn't looking. I thought it was stress. I thought it was the late nights catching up with me. I thought a lot of things in those first few seconds that turned out to be completely wrong. By the time I hit the kitchen floor, I knew. My name is James Calloway. I'm 58 years old. I was, by every external measure, a healthy man. I exercised, not fanatically, but enough. I wasn't overweight. I didn't smoke. I had a glass of wine with dinner sometimes. I thought I was fine. I was not fine. And the thing that keeps me up at night now, lying in this hospital bed with wires attached to my chest and machines tracking every beat of my heart, is not the fear of dying. It's the memory of every warning sign I ignored, every signal my body sent me that I dismissed, rationalized, and buried under the noise of a busy life. That's what I want to talk to you about today, not to frighten you, but because I genuinely believe that if someone had sat me down 5 years ago and told me what I'm about to tell you, I would be telling a very different story right now. So please, listen. I grew up in a household where men didn't talk about their bodies. You didn't complain. You didn't slow down. You pushed through. My father worked construction for 35 years with a bad knee he never once had looked at properly. My uncle had chest pains for 2 years before his heart attack and told nobody because he didn't want to seem weak. He didn't survive his. I watched all of this, filed it away somewhere, and then proceeded to do exactly the same thing. I'm a contractor, commercial construction. I've been doing it since I was 22 years old. It's physical work, demanding work. The kind of work that makes you feel invincible when you're young because your body just absorbs everything you throw at it. You work 12-hour days, you eat whatever's fastest, you sleep when the job allows it, and your body keeps going. So, you assume it always will. That's the lie that almost killed me. The first warning sign came 3 years ago. I was climbing a ladder on a job site. Nothing unusual, and I felt this strange breathlessness, not just being winded. Something different, a tightness that didn't belong. It passed in about 2 minutes. I told myself it was the heat. It was July. It was hot. That made sense. I never mentioned it to a doctor. The second sign came about 18 months later. I woke up at 3 in the morning with this discomfort in my left arm. Not a sharp pain, more like a deep ache, almost like I'd slept on it wrong. I got up, shook it out, went back to sleep. I never mentioned it to a doctor. Then there was the fatigue. This wasn't normal tiredness. I know what tired feels like after a long week on a job site. This was different. This was a heaviness that sleep didn't fix. I'd wake up after 8 hours and feel like I hadn't slept at all. My wife, Carol, she noticed before I did. She said, "Jimmy, something's off with you. You seem gray." I told her I was just overworked. We had a big contract coming in. I'd rest after. I never mentioned it to a doctor. There was also the indigestion, or what I thought was indigestion. I'd been having this recurring discomfort after meals, right in the center of my chest. I bought antacids by the case. They helped a little. I assumed it was stress. I assumed it was the fast food lunches on job sites. I assumed it was everything except what it actually was. I never mentioned it to any doctor. Do you see the pattern? Because I didn't. Not until I was lying on my kitchen floor staring at the ceiling while Carol screamed my name and called 911. The paramedics arrived in 6 minutes. I know this because Carol timed it and told me later, 6 minutes. And she told me that those 6 minutes felt like the longest of her life. That she knelt beside me saying my name over and over and I could hear her, but I couldn't make my mouth work properly to answer her. I thought about a lot of things in those 6 minutes on the kitchen floor. I thought about my daughter Emma's wedding that's supposed to happen next spring. I thought about my grandson Tyler, who is 4 years old and calls me Pop Pop and thinks I'm the greatest man alive. I thought about Carol, 31 years married, the woman who told me something was wrong and I didn't listen. I thought about all the tomorrows I'd been borrowing against, assuming they'd always be there. The cardiologist, Dr. Reeves, she sat down with me 2 days after the procedure. She's a small woman, very direct, the kind of doctor who doesn't sugarcoat things but isn't unkind about it either. She put my test results on the table between us and she said, "Mr. Calloway, you have significant coronary artery disease. This didn't develop overnight. This has been building for years. Years." She showed me the imaging. I won't pretend I fully understood everything I was looking at, but I understood enough. I could see where the blockages were. I could see what had been quietly happening inside my chest while I was busy ignoring it. She asked me about symptoms, and I told her. The breathlessness on the ladder, the arm ache at 3 in the morning, the fatigue, the indigestion that wasn't indigestion. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something I will never forget. "Mr. Calloway, your body was talking to you for at least 3 years. You just weren't listening. 3 years of warning signs, 3 years of signals I explained away, minimized and ignored because I was too busy, too proud, too convinced of my own invincibility to stop and pay attention. Here is what I know now that I wish I had known then." Heart attacks don't always look like the movies. I spent my whole life picturing it as this dramatic, unmistakable event. A man clutching his chest and dropping. Clear and obvious. Impossible to miss. That's not always how it works. The symptoms can be subtle. They can be easy to explain away. They can come and go, which makes them even easier to dismiss. Breathlessness that passes. Fatigue that seems logical, given how hard you're working. Discomfort you chalk up to something you ate. Your body is not dramatic. It's methodical. It sends small signals before it sends large ones. And if you ignore the small ones long enough, eventually you get the large one. And by then you're on the floor. Men are particularly bad at this. I say this as a man who was catastrophically bad at it. We are trained culturally, socially, by the examples of the men who came before us to push through, to not complain, to handle it, to be strong. And there is a version of strength that is genuine and admirable. But there is another version that is just fear wearing a tough face, fear of vulnerability, fear of seeming weak, fear of what a doctor might tell you. That fear almost killed me. If you are a man watching this and you have been having symptoms you haven't mentioned to anyone, I am asking you directly, please go get checked. Not because you're weak, but because being alive to take care of the people who need you is the strongest thing you can do. Your family needs you breathing more than they need you stoic. And this is not only about men. Carol told me her friend Patricia had a heart attack 2 years ago, and her symptoms were almost entirely nausea and jaw pain. No chest pressure at all. Patricia almost didn't go to the hospital because it didn't feel like what she thought a heart attack should feel like. She nearly died in her driveway. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, too, and women's symptoms are often even more atypical than men's. If something feels wrong, it doesn't have to feel like the textbook version of wrong for it to be serious. I want to talk about the life stuff too, not just the medical facts, because I think the way I was living made the medical outcome inevitable. I hadn't taken a real vacation in 4 years, not a real one. We'd go somewhere for a long weekend, and I'd spend half of it on the phone. Carol stopped asking me to put the phone away. I think she gave up somewhere around year 3, and that breaks my heart to admit. I was working 70-hour weeks regularly, not because the business required it exactly, but because I didn't know how to stop, because stopping felt like falling behind, because rest felt like laziness, and I'd been taught since childhood that laziness was a character flaw. I ate badly, not because I didn't know better, because convenience always won. Because there was always another reason why today wasn't the day to start eating properly. There was always another deadline, another bid, another crisis that made the fast food drive-through feel like the only option. I slept poorly, 5-6 hours most nights, wore it like a badge. "I'll sleep when I'm dead," I used to joke. I almost made that joke literal. And the stress, the relentless, accumulated, never fully released stress of running a business, managing people, chasing contracts, worrying about money, worrying about the economy, worrying about everything, while never actually dealing with any of it, just absorbing it, packing it down, carrying it forward into the next day and the day after that. Chronic stress is not just a mental health issue, it is a physical one. It raises your blood pressure, it inflames your arteries, It disrupts your sleep, your hormones, your immune system. It does real, measurable, lasting damage to your cardiovascular system. I knew this in the abstract, the way you know lots of things in the abstract that you never apply to yourself, because you're the exception, because you're handling it, because you're fine. I was not fine. I've been doing a lot of thinking in this hospital room. You have a lot of time to think when you can't go anywhere, and the television puts you to sleep, and the nurses come in every few hours to check your vitals. I've been thinking about what I would say to the version of me from 5 years ago. The one climbing that ladder and brushing off that breathlessness. The one shaking out his arm at 3 in the morning and going back to sleep. What would I say to him? I'd say, stop. Just stop for 1 minute and pay attention. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. It is the most sophisticated instrument you will ever have access to, and it is speaking to you constantly. Learn its language. When something is different, when something is off, when something doesn't feel right, even if you can't articulate exactly why, take it seriously. You don't have to be dramatic about it. You don't have to panic. Just go get it checked. 1 appointment, 1 conversation with a doctor. That's it. I'd say your productivity is not worth your life. The deal can wait, the contract can wait, the meeting can wait. You know what can't wait? Your daughter needs her father at her wedding. Your grandson needs his pop-pop. Your wife of 31 years deserves to grow old alongside you, not instead of you. I'd say, rest is not weakness. Rest is maintenance. You wouldn't run a piece of heavy machinery for years without servicing it. Your body is the most important piece of equipment you will ever operate. Treat it accordingly. I'd say, the men who taught you to push through were doing their best with what they knew, but they were wrong, and some of them died too young because of it. You don't have to repeat their mistake. You're allowed to choose differently. I'd say, go to the doctor. Not when something is catastrophically wrong. Regularly, preventively, get the blood work, get the stress test. Get the checkups you've been putting off for 3 years because you're too busy and you feel fine. Feeling fine is not the same as being fine. I felt fine right up until I didn't. I'm going home next week. Dr. Reeves says the procedure went well. I have cardiac rehab ahead of me, medication, lifestyle changes that are no longer optional. My diet is changing. My hours are changing. My relationship with stress is going to have to change whether I like it or not. Carol has already started researching heart-healthy recipes. She texted me 17 of them yesterday. I told her I'd eat every single one. I meant it. Emma called me every day from across the country while I was in here. She's 29, my daughter, smart, funny, fiercely capable. She cried on the phone the first night and tried to hide it, and I could hear her trying to hold it together, and it destroyed me. It destroyed me because I thought about all the times I'd missed her calls because I was in a meeting, all the times I'd said, I'll call you back, and then forgotten, all the times I'd been physically present at family dinners, but mentally somewhere else entirely, running numbers in my head while she was trying to tell me about her life. She needed her dad. I was always somewhere else, not anymore. Tyler came to visit me yesterday, 4 years old, standing in the doorway of the hospital room in his little sneakers, clutching a drawing he'd made me, a yellow blob that Carol told me was supposed to be my heart, but fixed. He walked right up to the bed, very seriously, and patted my hand and said, "Pop, Pop, you have to eat your vegetables." I laughed so hard the nurses came to check on me. But later, after Carol had taken him home and the room was quiet again, I looked at that drawing for a long time, this yellow crayon heart, fixed, and I thought, that's the job now. That's the only job that matters. Keep this thing beating. Stay here. Show up. Be present. The contracts can find someone else. The 70-hour weeks are done. The meals at drive-thrus are history. Tyler needs his pop-pop to be around for a long time yet, and Emma needs her father at that wedding, and Carol needs her husband. And for the first time in a very long time, I understand that those needs are not a burden. They are the whole point. So here's what I'm asking of you, not as a doctor, not as a medical expert, just as a 58-year-old man who learned the hard way what happens when you stop paying attention to the life you're living. Know the warning signs, chest pressure or pain, shortness of breath that comes unexpectedly, pain or discomfort in your arm, neck, jaw, back, or stomach, unusual fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, nausea or lightheadedness, cold sweats without a clear reason. Don't wait for all of them at once. Don't wait for the movie version. If something feels off, go get it checked. Go to your doctor. Before something goes wrong, get the blood work, get the blood pressure checked, get the cholesterol numbers. Know your family history and tell your doctor about it. These are not signs of weakness, they are acts of intelligence. Look at your stress honestly, not defensively. Actually sit down and ask yourself, is the way I'm living sustainable? Is this pace going to be possible in 10 years? What am I sacrificing on the altar of productivity that I actually cannot afford to sacrifice? Talk to the people who love you, not surface level. Really talk to them. Tell them what's going on. Tell them when something feels wrong. Let them in. Carol knew something was wrong with me before I did. If I had listened to her 18 months ago instead of dismissing her concern, maybe I'd have saved us both a very bad Tuesday morning. And please don't be the man or the woman who spends years sending their family the message that work comes first. Because one day, your body is going to make the choice for you, and it won't be gentle about it. You are not invincible. None of us are. And that is not a weakness. That is just the truth of being human. We are fragile and temporary and borrowed, every single one of us. The only question is what we do with the time we have. I wasted a lot of mine. I'm not going to waste any more. My name is James Calloway. I'm 58 years old. I had a heart attack on an ordinary Tuesday morning, and I am so grateful I'm still here to tell you about it. Please don't wait for your Tuesday. Go get checked. Today, not tomorrow. Today.